was speaking to some designers over the weekend, and I wanted to share in this week's video just a small snippet of what I was speaking about when I was talking about the 6 support levels that we need as designers. But it also applies as business, and it's something that I like to talk about. So I thought I'd share this small snippet with you today, and that'll be it for this week. When we think about where we are and where we want to go, right? One of the things that I always think about is how are we going to do things in the way we design, right? And how do you want to grow as a designer? So for me, I knew that I wanted to grow in just so many different areas. I knew for sure that I wanted to grow in knowing nomenclature because actually when I first got started in learning about the floral business and wanting to be doing design and things like that, it's just so happened that my wholesaler, my rep, would not let me order flowers unless I gave him the variety name and or I had to give the specific color that I was going to use. So he handed me the Holland book, and then he handed me a bunch of materials from different growers, and he said, great, I love that you want to go in the cooler and look around and order things like that. He goes, but when you are ordering things, I want you to go specifically, take the book and tell me which varieties. So I was forced to, like, within the first year of doing floral design, and I've been at this for 34 years now, I was forced to have to learn how to do this and how to make that possible. And, to know my product, to know what I was working with. So it kind of set me on the trajectory through my entire career to always want to learn more, which was great. Because not only learning the botanicals, I got to learn how I wanted to work with them, which varieties did better, how I was going to take care of the care and handling. So it really made a huge difference. And I don't know about you, but if you're joining me live right now, or when you watch the replay, let me know, how is your experience with knowing your botanicals? Do you feel like you have a good handle on it? Or do you feel like it's something that, I just really need, can always learn more. So here's the thing that I always knew is that there's always levels of support that we need. And I teach this a lot in the business side of the industry. And no matter where you're at, you always need support, right? So when we talk about that, one of the things that I kind of teach on is these 6 support levels. Okay. And so I thought when I was thinking about doing this today, like this is actually applies to us as designers as well. So I thought I would kind of go over these and talk about where you're at and what levels do you have all your support levels? Do you have those levels that you need in your creative process? Okay, so the first one is your inner root, right? We all need support with our family and friends. And that's just that basic support. Whereas, like, I believe in you, I love what you do. Those kind of people we need in our lives, right? We've got the ones that are going to give us the high fives all the time and really boost us up, because that's inherent to us being, especially as creatives, to keep going. And so, do you have support there? I hope so, right? Between family and friends, it's so important for any of us. The next is the learning support. This is who is teaching you the how. Who's teaching you how to be more creative? Who's teaching you how to go about your creativity? That is where it's going to be important for you. And the how, we know, is one of the things that we go to first and foremost, right? We want to know how to design something. We want to learn how to use this technique, how to go about implementing our design and growing. It's innate as creatives that we want to learn how to grow. So this one, I think, is, generally something that we are always going to be curious about. But the next level that I go to is the accountability. And that is who is giving you that thing saying, hey, are you at the place that you want to be? Do you want to push further? Generally, like I would have somebody that, my group of friends and that were designers, that we would kind of challenge each other, hold each other accountable. How are you doing on that? Oh, really? Are you using that process? Guess what I found? I found a different process. Let's try it out. Let's test it out. Or somebody could just call up and say, hey, I'm really looking at this. Is it working? Now, do you have somebody that you are accountable with, that holds you accountable to not stay stuck, to keep learning more things? Because being accountable in that way is actually really important for us to grow. When we don't have that accountability, we have a tendency to kind of stay stuck in the tried and true things that we do design wise, which isn't always good. If we want to continually grow and grow our audience and those people that are coming to us and stay with the trends and things like that, we need that. We need that accountability. I don't know about you, but I see a lot of stagnant design out there that's been the same, especially like in the sympathy area. It's been the same for years. How do we change that up? How do we make things different? So I want to challenge you in that today. Now, the next level that I talk about is directional. This level of support is who is guiding you, who's advising you, who's coaching you to get to the next place. Do you have that? Because we all need it. I had that at every level and stage throughout my career. And I also would have that, and I would actively seek that out when it came to my designs and my creativity and how I wanted to grow. So there are so many that I can think of. And, one of them is Tommy Gilliam. She's the whole reason why I found out about EMC, because I worked with her. I knew things that she was someone that I looked up to, that I wanted to make sure that I was keeping an eye on, and that she would give me advice on, here's where I think you could really start to grow in this area. Well, that's what happened with EMC. Oh my gosh, boy, did I start to grow even faster. I wish EMC had been around earlier in my career. So those are the kinds of things that you see. Who do you have that's coaching you, guiding you, or advising you on your creativity? Who's with me here? Do people find that this is something that you need and you want? Let me know in the chat if you actively have some of these levels in your career when it comes to your creativity. Next level is the level where it's focused individual. Now, who is out there supporting you to live your best life? And this is where I have gotten coaching on throughout my career as well, because I've needed coaching on just me as a person so that I will challenge myself to grow in all levels, not just creatively, but personally. Finding those things that come and you're like, okay, I seem to get stuck here, or I seem to get overwhelmed at this. How can I change it? Or when I tend to have that, I don't know kind of reaction, I don't think I know how to do this, or I don't know if I can do this. Those are the kinds of things where you need support and they're going to come back to you and go, okay, yes, I want to make sure that I get that individualized support. So, and finally, and this one is more about when you are in business, but I really wanted to still highlight it because it's part of a support level, is your team. Who's helping you and taking some things off your plate so that you can do this? Now, this to me was super important when it came to my business because I always wanted things taken off my plate on the business side so that I could end up working on the creative side. And I was always wanting to get back to my design table. So that is one of the main levels where you want support as well. But here's where I think EMC's program, the focus really helps you as a designer, is on the learning level, teaching you the how, right? On the accountability level, where you have peers and you have people in your life holding you accountable to what's going on and saying, yes, okay, I totally want to be a part of that. And I totally want to be able to grow. And then they're challenging you. And then the directional level, because we have the coaches who you're going to hear from in just a couple of minutes. But those are the coaching, the advising, the guiding, saying, okay, here's where I see you could really concentrate on this area right here. And oh my goodness, just changing this would totally open up a whole new area for you. And I know that is what was so fascinating during my journey, was to be able to see how that made such a difference with getting that coaching, that help, and saying, okay, this is great. Here's an opportunity for you to be able to up your game in this area. So that's it for today. Yes, I was talking about EMC program, and if you're not familiar with it, you can always check it out by the link that I'm leaving down below. But you can also see that having these 6 support levels in your business, in your creativity, however way you want to choose it, it's important. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You know I'd love to talk to you. Let's jump on a focus call. Bye for now.